Okay, time for another WrestleDiary. We're going to dive right back in with New Japan Pro Wrestling's G1 Climax 27 tournament, days 3 and 4. Got my kind of notes down for the matches. Let's try and rattle through these a little bit quicker than the last one. Day 3, we had Hiroshi Goto versus Eugene Nagata. I gave this 4 stars. Really good, hard-hitting match. I really love Eugene Nagata. Like, he's over with the crowd. You know, he feels like a proper legend. I'm not quite sure if he is, but he feels like that, and his age kind of, there's just something about him. You know, he just seems like he's been through a lot of wars in the ring, and I just love his style. And again, like I said, I think that if I had seen him in his prime, I think I would have been a huge fan of his wrestling. Then we had Togi Makabe versus Tomohiro Ishii. Again, love Ishi. Haven't seen enough of Makabe. This was kind of his first match of his, I think, where I saw him against you know, someone who isn't a bad luck Fale, so someone who can have a bit more of a evenly sized match, you know, with someone who's, you know, kind of your same body type. And real hard hitting, really good. Ishi just has it down to a T. I love his selling, love his style. He's just perfectly built for what he does. Love Ishi and love this match too. In fact, day 3 was fantastic as far as the block matches go, which, if you're keeping up, are the only matches that I'm watching. Then we had Zack Sabre Jr. versus Kota Ibushi. I gave this 4¼ stars out of 5. Great match. Ibushi is just brilliant. Zack Sabre Jr. with the right person and someone who forces him outside of his style just a little bit, I think, is when he's at his best. And this was a really damn good match. Some great reversals, some great spots. The crowd was into it, and the finish was fantastic, where Zack Sabre Jr. had Kota Ibushi in some kind of arm lock, and Kota kind of powered him up onto his shoulder and basically gave him a modified version of his kind of last ride powerbomb finisher, which was really cool. Fantastic finish to the match. Bad Luck Fale versus Hiroshi Tanahashi. I gave this 3.5 out of 5. This really surprised me. I thought it was a damn good match. With a guy like Bad Luck Fale, you are kind of limited with some of the things that you can do, and I think they worked around his size perfectly. And you know, Tanahashi, you know, his arm is injured, and he's wrestling against someone who's like twice his size almost, and well, maybe not twice his size, but he's, you know, he's a lot bigger than him, so the styles are kind of going to clash. But I thought they really worked around it brilliantly. I liked how Tanahashi won with the count out. It felt legit. Yeah, I just was really impressed by it. They just really maximized their minutes and told the kind of, you know, the big man story really well. I really enjoyed it. Nothing fantastic, but really well done. And then we had the main event, Yoshihashi versus Tetsuya Naito. Gave this 4 stars. So this is, you know, almost all the matches around the 4-star area on average. So day 3 was a really strong one, I think. And Yoshihashi, again, there's something about his look just throws me off. I don't like it, but he always surprises me in every match I've seen him in. It's like, oh, he's pretty damn good. Naito, brilliant. He has such an aura about him, such a superstar charisma to him. The crowd loves him, and he's this big prick heel. It makes me think about Roman Reigns, you know, and that age-old at this point kind of discussion that if you turn Reigns heel and go full bore with it, the people are eventually going to start loving him. And I think that's kind of, well, I don't know, because I don't know what Naito's history is whatsoever, but Naito is this kind of real arrogant son of a bitch, but he pulls it off with such aplomb and such kind of style, and an infectious kind of charisma, you know, about himself. The people really buy into it, and they're huge. Like when he does his post-match promos, people are chanting along with every word. It's like The Rock, you know, like he really has them in the palm of their hands, of his hand, I should say. He has them in the palm of his hand. I'll leave that one in for free. And I really enjoyed the match. So yeah, it was a really good one. Day 4 we'll go right on with. We had Juice Robinson versus Evil, all caps Evil. Juice Robinson, again, really starting to dig this guy. Love his fire, and they had a really good competitive match that towards the end really built to a nice set of false finishes, and the crowd are really into Juice Robinson, and so I really like this one quite a bit. Then we had Satoshi Kojima versus Yano. Probably the weakest match I've seen so far on the G1. I gave it 1.5 stars out of 5. Just a nothing match really. Yano, you know, kind of funny, but it just feels like the Joker's run thin after only seeing him in one match ever. So I didn't really love this one, to be honest with you. Minoru Suzuki versus Sanada. I gave this 3 stars. It was okay. Suzuki seems quite old. I'm guessing he's in the latter half of his 40s. He has a real kind of legit crazy man feel to him. Like, he looks like he could proper rough you up and could do things, unspeakable things. Like, the hairstyle, the mannerisms, the way he wrestles, the aura he projects when he comes out with that towel over his head. Like, he's really quite a commanding presence in the ring. And outside of the ring, walking to the ring, he kind of carries himself with that sense of threat, I think. But ultimately the match was just good, you know, just a good match. Then we had Kenny Omega versus Tama Tonga. 3 stars out of 5 again. Good match, nothing much more than that. There was a really cool dive over the top by Kenny Omega. Tama Tonga, I think, was in the Bullet Club, or is in the Bullet Club before Kenny Omega. And Kenny Omega is in the Bullet Club, but he's also kind of has this kind of little group called the Elite. So he's kind of repping his own kind of little sub-brand in the faction. So Tama Tonga, the story of this match was he was really pissed off at Omega for, you know, repping someone else. And so throughout the match, Tama Tonga is going, "Fuck the Elite! You're at the Bullet Club! Fuck the Elite!" And like, he just kept doing it over and over and over. It's like, dude, we heard you say "fuck the Elite" the first time. You're really, really beating a dead horse. Like, it was a good story. I liked the idea of it, but he just punched it into the ground, and then just, you know, yeah, too much, over the top, I think. It was just distracting ultimately, but it was a, you know, decent match. 3 out of 5, as I said. Then the main event, we had Kazuchika Okada versus Michael Elgin. I gave this 4 3/4 stars out of 5. Almost a 5-star match for me. Absolutely loved it. My favorite match of the tournament, I think, just above Naito and Ibushi from the first day. Just an incredible match. It really built up. Okada's another one who holds himself with such kind of authority. You know, he walks out there like a champion. He feels like a proper superstar. Excuse me. And it's just great in these big match situations. And it's interesting because he's kind of the ace of the company, the face of the company, and he's supposed to be the face, like the baby face. And I heard one boo for Okada. And for the most part, people were really behind Michael Elgin in this match. That's who the people in Korakuen Hall were rooting for. And that made for a really interesting dynamic that I wasn't expecting. And it built up slow. And one thing I got to say is that those awful kind of steel barricades they have around the ring in New Japan, they look so hard to get whipped into. And I tell you what, every single match in New Japan, without fail, in the first 5 minutes, they'll roll out the ring and they'll whip their opponent into that steel rail, and that opponent will fly into that steel rail, smash their back into it, probably shave a couple of days off their career, and the crowd is like an inch away from getting like their eye popped out by the steel barricade rattling towards them. Like, it just looks so dangerous. And the whip into the barricade in New Japan is like the tope in WWE. There's a suicide dive in every single match, and it just seems a bit overkill to me. But towards the end of this Okada-Elgin match, just some incredible sequences. The crowd were just on their feet. And if you remember what I was saying about the opening match of the tournament, I think, Yoshihashi, Yuji Nagata, they really started to have the crowd in the palm of their hands, and then they went a bit too far, and they kind of lost the momentum a bit. And this is a match, Okada-Elgin, felt like it could have easily done that, but they had the crowd so much that they went beyond that point where most wrestlers would lose the crowd a bit and the momentum would sag, but the momentum just kept going. And that's when it gets into that really special zone where the crowd doesn't know what's going to happen, who's going to win, who's going to kick out of what, and they're losing their minds. There was a superplex in this match that was probably the best superplex I've ever seen. And what I mean by that is it was built up to. The crowd were kind of, you know, audibly rising up for it, and you know, the atmosphere was building as they were setting up for the superplex, and it was just huge. Like, both standing on the top rope, big air, big impact, big reaction. It felt like it meant something. It wasn't just a big move to do in the match. It was this huge kind of paradigm shift between the two wrestlers at that point in time, and that superplex was just fantastic because it just, you know, they couldn't have got a better reaction. There was no way they could have got a better reaction from that superplex. And it's great to see it when two wrestlers do a move that just maximizes everything that they're doing in that ring, and the crowd is so into it. And the finish was fantastic. You know, hit 3 rainmakers, and the last one was a proper one. Took Elgin off his feet onto the back of his neck. Just excellent match. Really, really loved it. So now I'm going to go and roll on with nights 5 and 6. I'll get back to you my thoughts on that, and I'll see you in that one. And leave your thoughts down below if you're following along with the G1. And I know not many people are watching these videos, but it is what it is, and I would like to hear any thoughts if you are watching it. So that's it. I'll see you in the next one.
It's alright by me. Apart from the fact he throws cans of Carlin into a tree. Yeah, he's really cool. Yeah, he's really cool. But he's not quite as cool as you, 'cause